Well, I think the first thing we should be doing about crime is obviously is to prevent crime. Crime prevention, which means that we prevent the crime in the first place, then we don't have to deal with the aftermath. Now, I can tell you that Stephen Harper's approach to crime of being harsher and tougher on young people is the wrong way to go. Crime prevention is the right way to go. I'll give you a couple of cases, and I think they'll bring it together. Last year, we had, or this past year, we had Ashley Smith, a 19-year-old young offender, die at her own hands at Grand Valley Institution. Now, Ashley Smith got into as a young offender into the young offender system, incarcerated for something like throwing crab apples at a postal worker who she thought was withholding, delivering welfare checks. And she got a lot of institutional charges while she was in the young offenders facility. She ended up being sent to essentially penitentiary with adults once she went over the age of 18. And for the most part of her sentence, she was kept in solitary confinement. And, you know, it came out that Ashley Smith was a young woman who was suffering from mental health challenges. And the whole issue of keeping her in custody was wrong. And but also, you know, consider keeping her in custody, and she was in solitary confinement, cost $250,000 a year. Now, from that case, I'll go to another one where a gentleman was delivering Christmas cards, and he got accosted and died as a result of it last December. And you know, it was a real tragedy. The perpetrator of that crime was a young man, 22 years old, whose family was desperately trying to get him psychiatric help. And now he's going to be going through the criminal justice system, and which is going to be, let me tell you, is going to be very expensive in itself. And but the problem we're dealing with is we have spent a lot of money on this, on the issue of crime in these two cases, when you consider that the money spent in dealing with them and the money spent incarcerating people, when you're dealing with mental health challenges, you know, would go a long way in hiring more mental health workers. And you know, so often we hear about crime, and then we find out that there's a mental health problem behind it. So my belief is that, yes, we have to get tough on crime, but then we also have to support groups like the Waterloo Region's Community Safety and Crime Prevention Council, which brings together the police, the Crown attorneys, social service agencies, local governments, and there's a much better way that's through prevention. Now, crime rates in Canada have been dropping, and you know, for the Prime Minister to cynically use young people, frighten the population of Canada with having them believe that our crime rates are going up is wrong. The approach he's proposing is exactly the same approach as being used in the United States, where they imprison 1.2 million people, 700,000 more than people than are being imprisoned in China. They spend an incredible amount of money on incarceration. They're causing economic problems. They're causing problems with families. And look what you have. I mean, they've been doing this for the past 30 years, and they have the harshest sentences. They have capital punishment, and at the same time, they have the most violent society and the highest crime rate in the Western world. Countries that take prevention as the approach to dealing with crime have a much lower crime rate. So it just doesn't make sense. And Stephen Harper wants to make Canada as safe as the United States, which is crazy because, like I said, they got the highest crime rate in the Western world and the most costly one. What we got to focus on is focus on prevention. Focus on prevention. Protect your community through prevention. And yes, if somebody commits a crime, you want to catch them. But dealing with that individual has to be in a fashion that's based on evidence. And the conservative platform is not. And it's denounced by all the experts and people that work in the field and the area. Let me close by saying that the associations of the chiefs of police said that if you're going to lower crime rate, you're not going to do it with more jail guards. You're not going to do it with more police officers. You are going to do it through social development. And that's what you have to work on. And eliminating child poverty is part of that step. And this is an issue that touches us all. And let me say that it's an issue that are dealing with people and can be painful. Having worked with victims of crime and having worked with people that committed crimes, I can attest holding the individual responsible for their actions is a good thing. But being overly punitive and wasting resources on needless incarceration is a bad thing. And what is critically needed in our society is more resources for people with mental health challenges. It makes a lot more sense. $250,000 a year to incarcerate somebody in security lockup hires a lot of workers for the mental health profession. Keep this in mind on October 14th. This is a real issue. I ask for your vote.